There is probably at least one white guy, adopted and raised in China, who speaks English with a Chinese accent, and strangers just assume he's a total asshole. The hours of 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock seem to be the hardest to stay awake, whether it's day or night. In the past 100 years, clowns have become more scary than funny, while skeletons have become more funny than scary. With around 8 billion people in the world, there's bound to be at least one person who learned how to speak English from watching the Ninja Turtles. It's so easy to get up after 4 hours of sleep when you're camping and have nothing to do, but if you get a full night's rest and have to go to work, it's so damn hard. There's probably a guy named Charlie working in a chocolate factory getting tired of hearing the same joke over and over. How do vampires always look so well groomed if they can't see themselves in the mirror? There's gonna be a huge market of specialized gaming stuff for the elderly when our generations get old. When you're young, they tell you you're very special. When you're an adult, they ask you, what do you think makes you so special? When you're dead, they tell you you were a special person. The older you get, you understand why adults got so annoyed when they asked their kid to complete a simple task at home when they were at work, only to come home from a 10-hour shift to find the chicken wasn't taken out of the freezer. Choosing to send your kid to school 1 year later or earlier will completely change their experience of life, friends, relationships, etc. The most unrealistic thing in SpongeBob is that he can support himself and a pet with minimum wage. We talk to animals as if they can understand us when they have no concept of language. We talk to babies in gibberish when they're actively developing language skills. If Queen Elizabeth II turns 100, she can write a letter to herself congratulating herself on turning 100. Today, we listen to our favorite songs over and over. 200 years ago, most people only heard their favorite symphonies once in their entire lifetime. In the far future, the question "what planet are you from?" will be an icebreaker, not an insult. Being born is like being put into a group chat in which you don't know what happened before you arrived, and you start to know what happened before you were born by people informing you on what happened before you entered the group chat. Cops try really hard to look like normal people, while security guards try really hard to look like cops. Somewhere in the Toy Story universe are two humans that sound like Woody and Buzz, who recorded the dialogue for the Woody's Roundup and Buzz Lightyear of Star Command TV programs, respectively. Half of our problems could easily be solved if our bodies could store sleep like a battery stores charge. You know, coffee is a big deal when millions of people have a dedicated table for it and don't even drink coffee. There are tons of people in the world who are passionate about things that you don't even know exist. Rest of your life sounds both incredibly long and frighteningly short. Your brain suddenly becomes perfect at proofreading after you post something. Flat earthers would start the Round Earth Society if there was proof that Earth is flat. We get angry at pets for being loud, but they always put up with our noise. One of the saddest things about getting older is watching friends' younger siblings slowly lose the innocent, carefree spark of childhood, and realizing the same happened to you along the way. If herbivores have horizontal pupils, to see predators, and carnivores have vertical pupils, to focus on prey, then it makes sense that we have circular pupils. We are omnivores who do both of the above. Kids next century will probably hate us for taking all the good usernames. If you visit a fortune teller, don't make an appointment. If she's surprised, then she is fake. Pizza delivery drivers in the pre-phone navigation era deserved a lot more credit for their skills. We spend 25% of our life learning how we are gonna pay for the 75%. Mario has some balls going into claustrophobic pipes with no clue where they'll lead. Where are you is a pretty new thing to ask someone, if you think about it. Fish have no idea fire exists. Going to jail for kidnapping is an eye for an eye punishment. In the zombie apocalypse, someone will inevitably die trying to make zombie porn. Never Gonna Give You Up has been memed so often that no one realizes that it's actually a really sweet and romantic song. If you look back on your past self and don't cringe, chances are you are still cringy. According to some Buddhists, we may not always reincarnate as humans, but animals instead. But then there's no reason why we can't be reincarnated as an alien glob monster millions of light years away. Living with a toddler is like living with one of those cute robots from an 80s film. They try to help you, but mostly they just crash into things and break stuff. If we had lightsabers, they would still probably be used to carve dicks onto walls. The main part about being an adult is having your bed in the center of the wall, instead of one of the corners. Bubbles are to fish what rain is to humans. Somehow, so many of us imagine a guy running alongside the car on long trips without ever telling each other about it. Calling it Greenland will probably make sense in 100 years. The day after the purge must be super awkward if you attempted to go after your co-worker or neighbor with a chainsaw and failed. One day, a random being will end up inhaling the very atoms that once made you. A teacher looking at your test then telling the class to remember to read the question properly is actually a pretty clever way of indirectly helping the student without breaking the test rules. DNA kits are a risky idea for a Father's Day present.